How's my hair? Is mine good?
It's phenomenal.
Oh,
you know what?
thank
I always
God.
think that I would look good with a bald head. There's going to be one day where I do it.
Promise me this. When you do decide to, I get to do it.
Oh my God. That's a big promise. I'm not promising you that.
Brieanna, we are going to be chatting all about your smashes with Tiesto, with Kaskade, with Seven Lions, with KSHMR and Jason Ross coming up. We're also going to be talking about your amazing Coachella performance and get to know you a little better. The incredibly talented Brieanna Grace, welcome to America's Dance 30 for the first time.
Well, I'm just going to go because I don't know how I'm going to beat that. I'm going to leave on ahead. No, thank you so much. I'm really, really honored to be here, especially with such legends being a part of this podcast. It's truly an honor to be, it's an honor to be nominated. It's an honor to be asked. I appreciate it so much, really, Brian. Thank you.
I've got your award. No, I got nothing. But it is so awesome finally meeting you. Now, before I did some Googleizing, I was actually going to say, where did you come from? Because you all of a sudden are just all over dance music. But then I found a YouTube channel from like 10, 15 years ago that I think is your old. Is that you?
Probably. You know what's funny is that I can't sign into it because I don't know the password, and I've been trying to get rid of that YouTube channel for so long. But yeah, I've been doing music professionally for over 10 years now, so it's been a long journey. But it is really funny how right now it's been a thing of like, where did this person come from? And I kind of like that. Like, I kind of like that aesthetic. I think it's really fun because dance happened for me completely by accident. It just was not planned whatsoever. And so it kind of makes sense in the context of the ether. But yeah, don't do too hard of a look because you're going to find some stuff.
Well, you are even back then you were performing with bands and stuff. You are so incredibly talented. I'm sure you've been told this 100 times already, but your voice in dance music is kind of like that old classic trance, like ethereal. I mean, your voice, like the old classic Armin van Buuren songs. That's what your voice is just amazing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Again, completely by accident. I think right now, too, because of so much nostalgia being kind of brought back up, it just naturally, like, you just kind of go where it flows. And once I started to just do that in my career in general, things just happened a lot better. And so it was just a very natural thing that happened. And I've just been really lucky to have amazing collaborators and then amazing artists like Tiesto and Kaskade and Jason and all these people that are incredible and that they heard me and liked it. And I was like, all right, cool, let's run with it. So it was fun. It's crazy.
Well, before we talk all about those smashes, before we talk about Coachella, let's get to know your origin story with Finky's firsts.
Oh, God. Okay.
Why are you getting nervous about that?
I feel like it's a litmus test.
It's like I'm TMZ or something, and I'm going to bring like an old relationship of 20 years ago or something. No, we're just going to get to know you better.
Okay.
Did I see, and I can cut this out if you want, but did I see that you were part of a cult?
Oh, yeah.
Now, should I ask or should I not ask?
You can ask. Fuck it.
What's the story?
Yeah, so I was in a right-wing fundamentalist evangelistic cult, which I didn't really know it was one until years later through therapy. And I still have a hard time I think people in cults don't know that they're in cults usually, and it's hard for them to even say the word. Even now to this day, it's hard for me to say the word, but so that was an interesting time from when I was like, I don't know, maybe like 17 to 19, and it was in the middle of Texas on 100 acres. It's since been, I don't even think it's around anymore.
Wait, is that Waco?
Yeah. No, not Waco, but it was in Texas.
Okay.
Not Waco,
Okay.
totally different. It was like a subset version of Christianity that was really into the prosperity message, the fundamentalism. Very, very interesting. But the crazy part about it is they had the most amazing music, right? So I was born and raised in church and born and raised in music, and I basically it was a camp that I would go to in the summers, and then I would pay to work at, and then they had this college that wasn't really a college, but you live on a campground and essentially like in a compound and with a bunch of other people. And this is crazy that we're talking about this right now. But the music was phenomenal, and I learned a lot from the music group. And you didn't have any sheet music. You didn't prepare. You had to go by the number system, essentially, like the Nashville number system. So I played piano a little bit for them, but I also sang. And there would be this really crazy thing where, and I actually really love, and to this day, really love the worship leaders there. There would be this crazy thing where you'd have, 6 singers on stage with the lead and then his wife, who's also a lead. And if she liked your harmony that you were doing, she'd look at you and go like this. And in the next like 4 bars, you'd essentially have to switch with her. So whatever she was
Wow.
singing, you would sing, and whatever you were singing, she would sing, and she would use that harmony. And so it was really amazing practice, and we had to set up and tear down all ourselves. I had to learn how to set up a piano, and everything had to be clean because you're having 20 people on stage. If you were not smiling, you were taken off stage and replaced immediately by someone. Yeah, it was like a very intense boot camp. I do not condone the religious trauma involved. However, when it comes to being a part of like a music group and a team, I learned a lot through that. And I actually had to calm down a lot after that because I remember doing a show in Austin, Texas after I had left. And there was a drummer that I was working with at the time, or like someone playing the djembe, and he was kind of off, or he wasn't going fast enough or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I looked behind and I was like, get it together. And then you turn back around and you just have a smile and you keep going. And he was like, you can't do that. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what do you mean I can't do that? But that's how I was trained. I was trained so militantly, and I had to very much calm down. But yeah, that was a crazy thing to bring up. I could go into it, but this is a music podcast.
Wow, that is amazing. Well, going back to music, and you kind of touched on it, usually my first question finding out an origin story is when you're growing up, was music the first thing that you wanted to get into? I'm gathering that it was since you started at such a young age.
Yeah, it's funny with this question. There's the how did you know or when did you know? And for me, it never wasn't a thing. It was just always there. It was always a thing. My mom said that I would get a chair and stand on the chair and say, "Okay, I'm singing now." And I would just perform on the chair. And so it just always was. And it was always a part of my life. And I always loved to sing. And then I always wanted to get voice lessons. I was like, oh, I want to be a singer. And my mom, she said, you can get voice lessons after you learn how to play piano. And she's like, because I don't want you to need anybody else. So you can.
Wow.
Yeah. She's very, very wise. She's a cupcake Southern Belle lady of a human, but she was very wise on independence. And then, so that was amazing. And then I learned how to play like jazz, like do the number system, because I can't reach sheet music for shit. I tried. I really admire all the people who are able to do that. I tried for years, and it just did not click with me. But as soon as I went to a jazz teacher and she taught me the number system of just chords, that just, and I started writing music from there. Yeah.
That is incredible. Now, we're going to talk about your mom coming up because of your Coachella video and about your music coming up as well. But Brieanna Grace is your real name, right?
Yeah, that's it. That is my legal name.
Which it's a beautiful name. When you were trying to decide on your artist project name, was using your real name your first choice? Were there other names you were considering?
I have a last name that I will not put out there, but this is my legal first and middle name.
I actually know it, so it's on the YouTube channel.
I guess it's on the YouTube channel. I gotta take that down. God. But yeah, that's my legal name. You know what's funny is my dad bought BrieannaGrace.com when I was born.
No
And
crap.
yeah, seriously, bought the domain for my brother, my sister, and me. And I was the only one that he got it by my first and middle name. And
That is planning ahead.
yeah, and so I always went by Brieanna Grace. And then I tried different things, like I wanted to be called like Luna or like something interesting. And even with going into dance, it was like, do I do like Grace with a V, But it just, at the end of the day, it's like, I've been consistently going by Brieanna Grace for 15 years. And so it's just been that way. I would have loved another name, but nothing ever, I didn't always love my name, I didn't always like it, but when I tried on other things, it just didn't feel right. And so I just kind of stuck with Brieanna Grace, and that's just been my name. It's crazy.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you did. It's a beautiful name. And
Thank
I'm
you.
not saying that besides the fact that it is, but also my mom wanted to name me Brieanna.
Oh my gosh, your mom has lovely taste.
She wanted a girl. And so my name was going to be Brieanna, but now it's Brian. So
My
here
name was going
I
to
am.
be Shelby, I think. And then my cousin's name is Shelby, and then I came out and they're like, you're not a Shelby. It was the whole thing around my name. So yeah, you would have made a lovely Brieanna.
And you would have made a lovely Shelby. But I like Brieanna. Now, as I mentioned, you've got some smashes right now. You've got an upcoming one with Kaskade. You've got Seven Lions. You've got Jason Ross and Kashmir. You've got Tiesto. But do you remember the first song you ever wrote?
There's two iterations of that, because I remember one song that I wrote really young, maybe just in my room, like a Christian song, maybe like talking about God or something. And then I remember the first song I ever wrote on piano after a choir concert when I was snubbed by a boy that I liked. And I went home, and all I could do was write in the key of C. I do remember that song. Oh, crap. I'm wondering if the lyrics escape me. Oh, but yeah, I do remember it. It's more of like I remember the moment of sitting down at my piano. I had just learned how to play chords. And it's the first thing that made sense to me musically, and I just needed to express how I was feeling. That was a lot of my writing growing up, was listening to Kelly Clarkson and then being an angsty child. And then, and like, especially, being in the South, being a girl in the South, it's like you just have a lot of people who interrupt you a lot whenever you talk or are trying to express. And then sometimes everybody has a different relationship to that, but writing and playing the piano was one of the first places that I felt just like safe to express how I felt about things, and not even as a resolution, right? As just in the moment writing about that. And so a lot of my early works are angsty.
Did you ever let that boy hear it?
No. I did that. Okay, though, I'll tell you something that I did do, is I did write a lot of these songs for a boy, and we were good friends, and he was like dating this other girl at the time, and then I brought him over to my house and I played him all of the songs that I wrote about him, and then we ended up dating, and he was lovely. He's lovely. Shout out Kyle if you're out there.
Do you have to credit Kyle on all of them?
No.
When I used to write poetry when I was younger, I would definitely, my level of pettiness was letting the person see what I wrote about them to
Really? Did you
hopefully
do
make
that?
them bad. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you did?
I'm petty. Oh, I'm petty.
Are you? Oh, I'm trying
Brieanna,
to
just
get-
wait.
I'm trying to get a little bit more petty, because I think I used to be, and then I had to really rein it in. And now I'm trying to let my petty flag fly in a really in a healthy and creative way. That's not destructive.
Is there such a thing?
We're gonna find out.
Yes, we are. Now, as I mentioned, I mean, you are on just incredible dance songs, but do you remember the first dance song that made you fall in love with EDM?
I don't know if this is considered to be a dance song, but cause every time we touch, I get this feeling.
Kaskade, absolutely.
Me and my brother used to slam that song. And then there was this Madonna track called Die Another Day, which was the theme song for a James Bond.
Yeah, 007.
Another day. Da, 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 I loved that record. Loved it. But yeah, I'm not really a dance music savant, and it is equally annoying as it is endearing because I don't know who does like I don't really know the genre. I just got into it, like the genres and the different things, and now I can kind of identify things a little bit better. But when I first got into it, I was like, I don't know what any of this means. But I feel like dance artists, especially as producers, they're such artists, and that is something that I've really enjoyed working with. And they almost like that. They're like, we like that you don't know. Just vibe, do your thing. And I'm like, if there's one thing I can do is vibe. I can vibe.
And I love that you chose Kaskade. That is a very good choice. An absolute classic. Yeah. Now, speaking of producers, who was the first producer to invite you into the EDM scene?
So, BLR, I did a song called Rush with BLR and Sonnen that Above and Beyond, they played in one of their sets, and that was like really, really incredible. There was also Orion Nielsen, who is fantastic, incredible human. Worked with him, and so it was, like I said, it was very, very random. I also worked with a producer called On One, who just reached out to me on like Instagram and just asked me if I would do a song. I was like, sure, whatever. You know, it was my first one ever. And then Orion Nielsen was great, T-Lux, and then it was like kind of in that trance space, and then it just kind of grew from there.
Gotcha. Well, I'm glad they did. It's amazing to have you in this space.
Though. BLR, because he heard my voice and he heard some of my demos that I did that are like totally not dance. Like there's this one that I did called Be My Church or something. And it was like almost kind of like religious coded, a little bit Western and just vibes. And he was like, this is cool. This is dope. Wow. And so BLR he's really, really incredible and gave me a lot of really good advice just about maintaining my own identity within dance music. And so I would attribute a lot to him. He was great.
That's so awesome. Now, you just had an incredible performance at Coachella with Kaskade, but do you remember your first time ever performing for a crowd?
Yeah, probably at church. I did a lot of church music growing up. And I will say I remember in high school, I was definitely bullied. And I remember the first time that I sang in front of my school, and it was a big school, right? So I remember the first time I sang in front of my school, and I remember the impact of that being that people just left me alone, like for the first time, you know? And there was something that was so relieving about that, of just, okay. And then I remember singing like my piano version of Hallelujah at school. And also, you might be able to find this on YouTube. It was Impossible. Impossible. That song. I sang that in front of my school, and people like left me alone after that and like didn't pick on me anymore. And it was great. But I think my first vocal performance was probably in church. Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, I love hearing about how that made them leave you alone, because I was bullied in high school too, like to the point of going through like a probably 3 or 4 year mass depression because of it. Like all my friends turned, like it was brutal. Like the nightmare high school stories that everybody talks about. Yeah. That's what we were going through. And I remember we had to write a paper about a book and compare the book to our life. And I forget what the book was, but it was somewhat about bullying. And my English teacher made me read the paper out loud in front of the entire class, who was filled with like all these kids who had bullied me. Yeah. And I mean, that was it was like I'm having vivid memories of that day, like my voice shattering, like being like shaking. I was so nervous. But from that point, like that was it. They realized what they were doing, and that made them switch. Yeah, absolutely. Plus, I was already working here at the radio station, so I didn't care at that point.
As a high schooler?
Oh yeah, I started working
Oh,
here when I
that's
was
amazing.
16.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, it was this was before child labor law.
That part.
I should probably cut this out.
That part. Yeah.
But yeah, I've been working in radio since I was 16. So,
Wow.
but
Amazing.
it is so annoying to me how many people are bullied, especially during that time.
Oh
It's
my
so
gosh.
hard.
And especially when you just like grow up in a smaller town, and while in high school it was a little bit less, just like elementary, middle school, and junior high.
Oh,
And I feel like there's this, like I've always had an eclectic sense of fashion, and then I remember just being in a space of like I need to look and dress like everybody else just so that I don't get made fun of. It's just like it's exhausting. And as
yeah.
much as not to make a circle around back to the cult, but I will say that my first year of being there was I felt the most loved and accepted of any place I'd ever been. And so
That
like
is
I was
amazing.
like because I could, and that was in like the hipster movement, right? So I was just wearing all this crazy stuff and like standing out, and that was really celebrated there, right? So we talk about these situations of, oh, I could never do that, I could never be in that, I could never be a part of that, and you go, you'd be surprised.
I was actually going to say that not to stay on this cult
Yeah,
conversation,
not to say on the cult, but
but that's why a lot of people
yeah,
go into cult type situations because there is so much acceptance,
yeah,
and it's kind of intoxicating to get that acceptance when you don't have that.
of course. And so it's like I was the perfect candidate, you know.
Finally, in Finky's verse, in honor of your smashes, what is Brieanna Grace's ultra love?
What is my I love my partner from here to eternity.
I would hope you would say that, either
Yeah.
that or your fur child.
Oh, and my fur child, my baby.
As a proud fur parent, how dare you not put your fur
I
child first?
know. You know what though? He came before she did, and if it wasn't for him, she would not be here. We birthed
All
her
right.
from my uterus.
I love that. Go ahead and give your fur child a shout out.
Hi, Luna. If you're watching, I love you so much. Yes, I'll give you a treat after this.
Luna, make sure to subscribe.
Please subscribe to America Stands 30. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, no,
Let's
I
talk.
love to paint. I love to paint. Painting is
Oh,
one of my great loves. It's my hobby.
I
So
think I saw
love.
that as your way of disconnecting, right?
Yeah, totally. It's like I have to create something or else I will create chaos. And so I have learned to channel that creativity in other ways. So if I'm ever feeling in a space where creatively just like either confused or a little blocked by music, I love to paint. And so I painted for a while and I got like semi decent at it, even though my paintings are completely derivative of other people's work. So I'm probably not going to sell them. But I love them and I love to paint and I love to make things. I love to sew. I love to do all that kind of stuff, all the creative stuff. So that would be a second love for me. And to cook. I love to cook.
A lot of ultra
I
loves.
love things. I love lots of
Now,
things.
let's deep dive into your songs, and we got to do it at a fast pace because you got a lot of them. Yes.
Okay.
Now, let's talk about your first one, Ultra Love with Kashmir and Jason Ross. How was that song born?
Oh my goodness. So Ultra Love came from me, Steffi Novo, and Stav Beggar. We just collaborated on a ton of records. And they are two songwriter, producer. They're just amazing people and super talented. And that song came up just us making something in the studio, right? We essentially made this like kind of poppy dance record, right? I didn't know, we didn't really know what was going to happen with it. We were just in this era of just making a bunch of stuff. And so whenever I think Jason's team heard it and Jason heard it and he really loved it and like they loved the vocal, and then Kashmir heard it and he loved the vocal. They were both really, really kind too about just like, this vocal is incredible, right? So you don't always get that, I would say, from producers. It's like, oh, this is a cool song, this is a cool record, but they were both just really kind and really supportive of me. And I think especially at the time where my streams and my career has gone up and down and up and down and up and down, you know? And so you just kind of get used to it. But they both were just like, this vocal is incredible. We love it. We want to work with it. And then Kashmir adding in that little flute is just crazy. It's so
Yeah.
love that damn flute. It was
I'll
really
I'll
cool.
hop on to what they were saying. I mean, the vocal is amazing, and that song as a whole is so classic
So good.
trance.
Yeah.
Speaking of trance, let's get to Tiesto. Beautiful Places. How did that song come about?
Same collaborators, Stav Becker and Steffi Novo, and we were in this space. Okay, crazy thing about Beautiful Places is that I think that was the fifth idea we tried that day. Oh, we were about to give up. We just we enjoy each other's company so much, but I think also too because we've all done this for a long time. It's just we know when something is fine and we know when something is good and we know when something can be great. And so what I really love about that crew is we'll work on something and we'll all just look at each other and be like, it's fine. And we're not really in the business of fine. You know, we want to do something great. And so I remember us just trying so many ideas that day and it was just like, ugh. And then Stav played this dun 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 dun. And I remember thinking of Michael Jackson, and we're delirious at this point, and or the Weekend. I was thinking more in that space, and I grabbed my fake microphone, and they're sitting, and I'm just like running around the room, and I'm like, there goes my mind, dun 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 dun, you let me down, do that sound, yeah. Like it just like, and Stav was like that. And we're like, okay. So we just kind of went through it and the song sounded completely different, right? So it had totally different production. It was a lot slower. So whenever we were just in this mindset of we understand that there's dance music, but we also we're not making things with other people in mind. We just want to make things that we really love, that we think are really, really dope, and that are intrinsically us and that are unique, right? So we're not trying to copy anybody else. We're just trying to be us and do us the best way that we can. And then that will create, in turn, its own sound, which can define certain ththings, right? So it's sometimes you don't have to be the best, you just gotta be the first, right? So we even though they really are the best, we were delirious. It was our fifth song we tried that day. Thank God we did. And we were also in this place of making things that were just kind of different. And we all just knew that when someone got it, they were going to get it and it was going to hit and it was going to move. We made so many records together and we're like, we know that this isn't the norm. We know that this isn't made for someone. We know that we're just making what we really like. But as soon as someone gets it, it's going to hit. And so luckily, it was Tiesto who got it. And then him and Stav worked on the production of that. And they transformed it into something that was incredibly special. And I just remember hearing the demo, because even Stav forgot about the song for a while. And Steffi was like, what about that one song we did? And Stav was like, I got to work on it. And then I remember whenever he sent us back, just the first demo, before it was even pitched out, I just, dun, 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 dun. And I was like, oh. And then spaces. And that's my voice 50 times.
No crap, layered?
Yeah, just layered. I am a gospel girl, right? I come from church. That's my bread and butter. And so I feel like this song is also the most me, too, that I think that I've had out there. And that's what felt so good about that collaboration with Tiesto is it felt just like artistry. And he just got it. And then it was just such a beautiful experience. Not to put that on the nose for Beautiful Places, but it was really incredible. And we knew that it was something really, really special. And not everybody got it, but we were like, someone's going to get it. And they're going to and it just needs to get to that next level. And then Tiesto really just brought it to that next level with his artistry and his choices and him and Stav working together. It was such an amazing experience. It was awesome.
Well, I'm going to tell you again, you sound amazing on it. That's going to be the last time I tell you that because you sound amazing on everything.
Hey, you should listen to my old records. I do not sound amazing on everything, but you know what? At least I did something.
I would love to, but there's no YouTube channel with them, so I can't.
Please don't make anybody,
It's been scrubbed. It's been scrubbed. Let's move on to Seven Lions. How was Free born?
Oh, this one is a really cool story. So Free was born from a writing camp, right? So it was me, Sophie Rose, Stav again, and Matteo. And we were at this writing camp, and I forget what we were writing it for, but basically we just wrote this song. And I didn't have as much of a perspective coming in that day, but I remember Sophie coming in, and she had the situation that just happened. And so I was like, let's draw on that, right? So, because everything is always love and this and that, and that's great, and we love that in dance music, but I'm also someone that I need a variety of things. And so the meaning of the song that I love is just all of these things happen. And at first the chorus was, guess I'm free now. Like, I don't feel all this stuff anymore. I don't need you anymore. Guess I'm free now. And then I was like, okay, like the song is cool. The song's, okay, fine. And then I kind of like forgot about it a little bit. And then I heard a demo that Seven Lions did. And I knew within like the first 3 seconds. And that we were maybe deciding if there was going to be maybe another singer on it. And I was like, yeah, maybe another singer, if it doesn't fit my vibe. But then I heard his version and it going, wah, 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 wah. And I was like, may I please stay on this, sir? Like, please? And he was like, yeah, of course. And he's super, super lovely. But what I loved about that was it was such a mix of styles, because it was written over maybe like a classic trance type of production. And that's super cool and that's fine. But when Seven Lions got it, and again, this is what I've been loving about working with these DJs who are artists. And he was like, he took it into a completely different world, which actually is very home to me, because I love like dark electronic music. And I always have. And so for me, I love the intensity and this thing. It's almost like this moment that you feel. There's like a freedom moment, and there's also a bit of a freedom whenever you can transition from like maybe sadness to like a bit of anger, right? So there's like a freeing anger, and that's kind of like how I feel when I listen to the song, and I listen to it, and I'm like, and then his idea was to change "'Cause I'm Free Now," and I was like, damn it, that is a better lyric. I was like, you're right,
Jeff.
I was like, you're right. I was like, that's better. And so, 'cause I'm free now. It's so good. And I remember listening to it the first time, and my manager was like, I'm not sure. Are you like, is this maybe your vibe? I was like, this is the fucking shit. I was like, I love it so much. And I was just obsessed with it. I love the way that you can make something and then work with other artists and collaborate, and they flip it. And it just made it into something so special and so emotional. And I love that. So that was a super fun, random thing that happened. Phenomenal.
Yeah, and I love how you're just kind of all over the spectrum, like trance, and then you get into the wub with Seven Lions, and now Housey with Kaskade performing at Coachella. How does Stay for Love happen?
Stay for Love was also with Steffi and stuff. And,
I suggest you never get into a fight with them.
Thankfully, they are phenomenal human beings, right? So there's just that element of trust. And so I literally thank God every day for them. They're just like incredible humans. Needless to say, they're very busy. We're all busy, but, and also Neil Ormandy. And so I think that he came in with the idea of stay for love. And we had written the song and recorded it. And again, it was on a totally different type of background. Like the record sounded more trancey. It was more like happy pop and had different verses. And I think we did this about a year ago, I think. And so the song had been pitched around, and we knew that there was something really special about certain parts of the song. And then randomly, it was Kaskade's team. Like, we like this record, maybe another singer on it, like a more high profile singer. I was like, Yeah, absolutely. And that's just like how it works. And I don't mind that at all, right? So it's like, yeah, get Hayla to do something that would be phenomenal. I'm like, I want to hear her sing
Shout
that.
out, Hayla.
Shout out, Hayla, we love you. I love that part. I'm an artist, but I'm also a songwriter, So you always want to do what's best for the song, And then it's this crazy thing of, I think maybe 2 weeks before Coachella, so maybe 1 week before he started rehearsing in Vegas, he was like, "Hey, we want Brieanna on the song." He rewrote some of the verses and totally redid the production. And I was like, okay, I don't know. And I listened to it.
Forget you, Hayla.
But again, working with artists, right? So Kaskade's incredible. He's legendary. And working with artists. And I listened to the rewrites and I was like, damn, this is really good. I was like, I like it. I like it a lot. It was great. And so he was like, okay. And we're like, hey, so they want to premiere at Coachella. Cool. So we're like, can I sing? Can I sing? And they're like, maybe. We don't know, right? Because, of course, he's been planning his Coachella set for months and months,
right.
and months and months and months. And so it's kind of hard to be like, hey, you know what I mean? And like, hey, I'm just happy to be here. But listen to it. And luckily, I had a session booked the next day already with one of my vocal engineers. And so we're like, hey, change of plans on recording these other songs. We're going to re-record this one with all the edits and send it to Kaskade's team. So we do that. The hardest song I've ever recorded in my entire life. Wait till y'all hear the whole thing. The dynamics, like how low to how high, the different tones. And it's one thing to sing something technically well, but it's another thing to kind of give it character, right? And like personality and make it a little bit more iconic. And so it was like I sang the whole song and then it gets to the very, very end and I hit these certain notes and I started to feel it in my soul. And I was like, all right, well, now we got to re-record the whole thing in this feeling, right? Because it was technically correct. But just because something is technically done well as a singer, it doesn't mean it's interesting, right? And so I think that's a line that we have to really
like balance?
Yeah, it's a line we have to balance as artists and as singers. Is like there's the technical aspect of what we're doing, but there's also what makes it interesting, right? So I've always been talented. I've always been wildly talented, but I haven't always been interesting, right? As a vocalist. And that's just being honest, right? And so how I had to go back, and luckily my vocal engineer, he's incredible. And so I was like, okay, now we need to like redo some of these parts. And he was like, I completely 100% agree, because now there's just like this grit. There's this feeling with it that shifts it. Anyway, so we sent off the record to Kaskade. We had no idea if he was going to play it or not. Because again, he's been planning his set for months.
Right.
And they have a whole creative direction. Like it's this whole thing. And so it's kind of like, I'm super honored, but as an artist, I understand like you've been planning this. And if it's right for you, if it's right for your set, same thing happened with Tiesto at Dream State. I didn't know if he was going to premiere Beautiful Places there, because ultimately when you're on stage and you're there with the crowd and you have to feel it with the people. And so I completely understand if it's like, hey, it's not right for this, right? Doesn't mean something isn't good. And I think
Right.
that's something that people need to kind of get that chip off of their shoulder and get over a little bit. I had to do that. Is like, just because something is great doesn't mean it's right for someone. So we didn't know. We were like hoping and praying. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, that's great. We'll address it at another time. So we're watching the live stream at Coachella, Kaskade, just in case. And then we hear it play. And I was like, texted Steph was like, oh my God, he's playing the record. And what I love about the way that he did it too is he didn't play the whole song. He chopped it up and only played certain parts of it. But in context to his whole show, it really was just like this cinematic moment. And he adjusted it in a way. And again, working with artists, he adjusted it in a way that it was exactly at the right time, at the right moment. And so and that just takes like years and years of learning to do.
Right.
And so we were just so excited that he even included it in his set, because it literally happened like a few days before he started rehearsal.
Crazy.
And I didn't know if I was going to sing. Second week rolls around. It's Wednesday night at like 9:30. Get an email confirming production Brieanna's going to sing. I did not rehearse. Like, we didn't rehearse. We didn't, like, none of that. And so I always have a thing where of like, okay, I'm going to chill or I'm going to kill. Like, it's either way, it's going to be good. We're going to be good. We leave the next day. I didn't have a dress, nothing. I made my dress, like, did the whole thing. And I mean, and Kaskade was just a lovely, lovely human. And so speaking of him, like, shortening it, we were in the trailer just chatting. He goes, sorry I didn't play the full record. And I was like, no, like, he shared this thing on his story where I'm like going like this. And I was like, oh my God, I look like a crazy person talking about Kaskade. But I just get really nerdy about the kind of the artistry of it all. And I was like, listen, I think the way that he did it was just so well done, and it told a story, and the whole production team was phenomenal. Everyone was so nice. There's this video on the internet of me crying because everyone was so nice, and they were just lovely. And it was like, I'd never been to Coachella, and it was always a dream of mine that the first time I go to Coachella would be to sing at it. And so that was and I took a break from performing live. Was always a live performer my whole life growing up. That's all I did. And then when I moved to LA, I had a hard time for the first like few years. And then I moved away for like 6 months to New Mexico, moved back. And I was like, okay, who am I without all of this? I've always been talented, but what do I have to say as a person? What is my perspective? Who am I just in a room with my microphone just like this when nobody's clapping and nobody's listening and it's just me? And so I'll get emotional about it, but I love performing. It's like where I feel like home. It's what feels so natural to me. But I took time, like almost 4 years off of that, just to become a better studio vocalist, to become a better artist, to become a better person, and then to have this massive performance come back, and it being at Coachella with Kaskade, so last minute, so kind. Thank you, Kaskade. You're so kind to do that. What a legend. It just was like, for me, it felt like and there's this moment right whenever I walk up and I'm just looking out at the crowd, and there's this part of me that's like, damn straight, abso-fucking-lutely, yes. But you just see the people who are so jazzed to be there, and they just love it. They love the music and they love the moment, and you get involved in the industry and like all of the stuff, which is, just a part of it, and that's totally fine. But to be back there, and I just don't think that I would have been able to get that moment if I hadn't taken that time off from performing to just become a better human and a better artist. And so all of these things just happened as a byproduct of that. Anyways, I got into a whole thing.
No, I love hearing all of that. There's a lot to unpack. So let me see if I can remember everything I wanted to unpack. First of all, thank God you did take that time, because one of the hardest things of being in the industry is getting addicted to the high of being on stage.
Yeah.
And then you come off stage and you're like, the quiet is the hardest part, because all of a sudden the admiration isn't there. So I'm so glad that you did take the time to find yourself outside of the stage, which is great. Secondly, I love your reaction to hearing Kaskade dropping your song, because I remember talking with Anissa, and she mentioned that she didn't know that Kaskade was going to drop her song, and he dropped it at EDC Vegas. And she heard it during the stream and mind blown, which is incredible. Yeah, which is unbelievable. So that's incredible.
With my friend Lenny. She had also a record drop with Kaskade.
Yeah.
Out Coachella, and then she ended up singing with Subtronics. She's an icon.
It's so incredible. And shout out Linny. Love Linny to
Love
death too.
Linny.
And Subtronics. And I will tell you this, I'm sure you know this already, but and in no way, please, if this comes off as mansplaining, I apologize, but it's not meant to be.
Okay.
So DJs do that a lot. Like they'll drop songs in their sets before like they're even done just to test it out, like to hear the levels or anything. So that's kind of normal for the DJ to do that.
I didn't know that Sharam from Deep Dish. So my partner, good friends with Sharam, and they were business partners back in the day. And so I did like a few random records for Sharam, and years ago that he did play one at Coachella, never been released. But what he's doing is he's like fine tuning it, and it's like version 32. And I'm like, all right, let him cook. So the fact that some of these happened so quickly was almost weird because I did not know that was a thing. And it's funny that you brought that up because I was like, oh yeah, Sharam does that. And Sharam did that. And he was one of the first DJs also too that I ever worked with, but has never released one of the songs, but we'll play them. And it's iconic and it's amazing. And we love Sharam. So all good in that space. But yeah, it's that concept is wild to me, but I also love it. It's kind of chaotic. Like I like that chaotic energy of like, you don't know till you know. It's not out till it's out.
Absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned the multiple versions because that's normally one of my questions to producers is what is the final V of a song? Because there is so much tweaking that goes on. I love finding out what the final V of songs are. So it's so funny you brought that up. Well, congratulations on everything that's been going on for you. That video that you posted with you on your phone with your mom was just so heartwarming. It was so incredible. Congratulations on everything that's been going on for you. What more can we expect from Brieanna Grace?
Well, I will be singing with KSHMR at the Palladium on May 23rd with an orchestra. It's very chill. It's fine. I'm very excited about it. We're going to be doing Ultra Love and maybe another little fun thing. So really excited about that. That's going to be fun. And then I'm working on my solo project as well. So excited to get that out. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see that performance because I tell everybody, like Above and Beyond has done it. I'm not sure if you're familiar with BT. BT is kind of like a classic trance dance. Like he's been around like Sasha and Digweed, period.
Gotcha. I apologize to everybody out there, the trans community. Thank you for loving me. I'm so sorry that I don't know who some people are. Thank you for
No, you're fine. You're new to the scene. You've got time. Absolutely. But Above and Beyond, BT has done it. A lot of other artists have done it where they've done orchestral stripped down shows. And so I can't wait to see Ultra Love performed with an orchestra.
I'm very excited. It's going to be really, really cool.
That is going to be incredible. Brieanna Grace, thank you so much for your time with us on America's Dance 30.
Thank you so much, Brian, for having me. And this is Brieanna, and this is America's Dance 30.
Brieanna, I mean, this chat was supposed to be 20 minutes. I can't thank you enough for all the time. I mean, my God, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It was great finally meeting you. Congratulations on everything.
Thank you so much. And congratulations on everything. I know you just had your 400.
Oh, my God. You've done the research. Holy crap.
Who's interviewing?
Okay, go ahead. Ask your questions.
No, that's really the only one I have.
You have a question.
No.
Oh my God.
I'm just really honored, and it's really, really cool to be a part of such an amazing community, right? For me to be welcomed with such open arms as a new person in this, it's been, I think the community, I think the DJs and the producers who they take chances on like relatively unknown artists and unknown vocalists, and they do that intentionally. And it's just been an amazing time to be a part of the dance community, and I will forever be grateful for it, and for people like yourself who who talk about the behind the scenes and who ask us these questions, and to have such legends on your show and to just invite little old me makes me feel
Oh,
also
stop.
legendary.
Oh, you should. You
Thank you.
1000% belong in this community. You are so incredibly talented, and there is no more that I can say.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Brian. And you're excellent.
Absolutely.
Your
Oh,
podcast
thank
voice
you.
is wild. It's so
It's
good.
it's not a podcast voice. That's
I
my
see it's
voice.
your
How
voice.
dare you?
I love it.